Hi, and welcome to another episode of Functional Living with April in the Community, a mini talk show where we bring different resources and businesses in the community to bring fun and function into your home. I'm your host, April McNamara, and today's guest is Kurt Drexler from Linked Living.
That is correct. Thank you.
Welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Linked Living?
Well, Linked Living has not been around all that long. As a matter of fact, we've been in business for just around 4 years now. And it didn't start in the stereotypical way. There was no grand business plan. The owner, Tom Copps, honestly had enough individuals in his life who either were wrestling with the whole aging in place, living in place concept and or some disabilities. And so he was affected by that enough that between that and his faith, he just felt that there needed to be something done to bring families and to keep families together. So this started out first with just trying to equip people in their homes to better live in the places that they were, but then evolved into something more, which Linked Living is now.
I would love to have a tour. Would you be willing to give us a tour of?
Absolutely.
Give us an example of what Linked Living can do.
Absolutely. Well, the great part about being able to build indoors, because we build all of our modules right here in our facility. There's 10,000 square feet. And typically we're able to work on 3 to 4 of our units at any given time. But as a result, we can build 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, which is great because we're not affected by how cold it is outside or how hot it is outside. And of course, if it's raining out, we can continue to work. You can see that we're building right now is actually what we call a 4-pod unit. And that just simply means that when it's separated, will be 4 separate pieces that can be separated and then trucked and delivered to your home site where it would be attached to your home. But here on the shop floor, we actually build it as if it's one complete continuous unit, and so that it flows the way it is supposed to flow and function the way it's supposed to function. One of the main differences between the way we construct these homes and just a conventional home is that we build our foundations on helical piers, which just simply means that these supports are drilled into the ground and they're engineered to have as many as needed in order to support the weight, not just of the unit, but of course even of snow load here in Wisconsin. Now again, our units are not only built for seniors who are aging, we also build for individuals who may have some physical disabilities. And so oftentimes in those cases, we don't need kitchens and living rooms. We usually just need a very functional bedroom and a bathroom that they can navigate back and forth. This is an example. This is our model here, and it gives you an example of what it is that we can build for you. Now, our units are usually built, not usually, always built in pods. The pods are typically 10 by 14 in dimension. But then we put them together in a way that creates the kind of place that you need, so that it's, again, functional for your particular lifestyle. So in this case, what you see in this particular living room slash little breakfast nook is actually 2 pods. So this is 14 by 10 by 14 by 10. And of course, you don't see the seams because once we install them, those are plastered over so that it's one continuous wall. In this case here, you might notice, like, where are the windows? And that's a very good question. The windows would show up once we're on your site. This is a model right now. When we're constructing these for you, and we're putting in windows, how many you want or what size you want based on your specifications. This living space here then flows into a mini kitchen, kind of a galley kitchen really. And this is just the basic kind of a unit where it has your cabinetry. Obviously you have a refrigerator and a microwave, and in this case a hot plate. You notice that there isn't a dishwasher or a range here, but those are appliance features that can be added. You swap out some cabinet spaces for appliances. But typically we don't include those because we are attached to your home, your loved one's home, and they usually will have those fully functional kitchen there that you can use. As a result, we don't have to duplicate expenses.
I think this also brings about a nice safety feature when you're working with families and really customizing the units to their needs. So that's really nice that you can customize that.
The bathrooms are customized from the beginning, and with pretty much no exception unless you request it. But they all have roll-in showers, and so that whether you need that now or not, it is ready for potentially a day that you might have that need. They are wheelchair accessible, meaning that you can turn a wheelchair in the center of the room. And the vanity in this particular case actually is a tearaway vanity that we can start with this if you don't need wheelchair accessibility, but when or if that day comes, the lower unit just simply slips out and then it becomes wheelchair accessible. And then the bedrooms are probably one of the areas that potentially gets modified as much as any other room. And that just a matter of your taste, the furniture that you already own, or the space that you want. In this room, you see that it's simply a simple twin bed with a nightstand. This particular size room, which is 10 by 14, will accommodate a queen size bed without any trouble at all.
What's the best way for someone to get a hold of you if they would like to have a home addition?
Check out our website, linklivinghomes.com. But what I'd like to see as a second step is that you've seen a little bit of a walkthrough here of the model, but come see it face to face. Just come see the facility. Come see how it is we do what we do. But most importantly, let's have a discussion about why we do what we do. So the first is the internet. Second, usually, is simply a visit here with the model. The third then would be to actually set up a time with our designer, and Greg then would sit down with you and the computer, and you just get to play with design, and you begin to get a conceptual plan of what this might look like. At the end of that meeting, you can actually get a price then about what this might cost for you. And then the fourth visit usually is a home visit to your particular place where you live and where this home would be attached, just so we can make sure that there's no other obstacles that could get in the way. It might be zoning, it might be clearances for how we need to get the pods into your piece of property. But then once we get that done, we can start rolling by starting to build it here and get it to your place. Often when people walk in the door, they're looking for very practical reasons to consider this option, and that being they need a place to live, and this looks like an affordable way to get that done. And so we end up starting to have the discussion about, well, what will the building look like? What would the walls look like? And where will the furniture go? But as we spend more time in talking, it's easy to discern that really this isn't so much about a dwelling unit. This is about us continuing to stay connected as a family. We were designed for the need for a relationship, and when that is broken, everything else is affected by it. And so when a family considers this, I tell you, it brings such joy to your heart to see that a family first is willing to sacrifice, because there is sacrifice involved. You're giving up a little bit of your privacy, a little bit of your space, but what you are gaining is hard to explain. All I can tell you is that the smiles on individuals' faces whom we build units for, and as they tell us about the experiences that they're having, is so fulfilling, So our need here, our mission for building these additions to people's homes is about connectivity, about relationship. Certainly it includes independence and privacy, but this is about keeping families intact for as long as possible.
Thanks so much for joining us on another episode of Functional Living with April in the Community.